Welcome to our lives, the body soul connection and how to feel better in this realm rather than just, we talk about the spiritual realm and metaphysical things so often. And last week we were chatting with Shannon and Maria about the energetics of feeling your body mind connection or body energy connection. And now we're going to be talking with Laura and Lisa, who are going to talk about the physical realm, the everyday things we can do to make ourselves physically feel better. That while we're working on the emotional stuff and the woo woo stuff, there are some real physical things you can do and ways that you can conduct your life that uh, will make you feel better more quickly than maybe these other um, paths will lead to. So we'll start with Laura. Introduce yourself. Tell us, everybody, what you're doing and how it feels.
Yeah. So I'm Lara Sloan, and I have been in kind of the wellness space, health, fitness, all the things, for like the last 25 years. And it's always just been a true passion of mine. Um, and, as I got older and as the rest of my peers got older, um, one of the things that we started noticing was like everything that worked before kind of didn't work anymore. And it kind of felt like the wheels started falling off the bus. Um, and, I think one of the things that's so important is to realize that, like I said, things that used to work don't necessarily work as we get older. But there are some core kind of foundational principles that have definitely stood the test of time. Um, you know, I definitely suggest, the get your water, get your sleep, strength training, all the stuff that you're seeing, kind of all over social media. But also, one of the things that was really important for me as I got older was to actually start looking underneath the hood. And by that, I mean, I did reach out to a functional med doctor, to a HRT doctor to just kind of get a baseline. And, you know, Mm, so let me back up. I absolutely loved Maria and Shannon's talk last week because I am into that woo-woo. Like, I talk to my psychic every 6 months, the tarot cards, but I also really, do believe that science sorry, I have a little notification there, that, we have to look to science, and by looking underneath the hood, we can really get an idea of what's happening on a hormonal level. And when you can make that intersection between, something that might seem a little, more out there, like, I believe it was Maria was talking about, um, your blueprint from, what was it? As you're going through reincarnation. I totally embrace that, and I believe it, and I think we can pull, pieces of that into the science, and it's bringing them together. So, so I really am about that intersection between woo-woo and science, and, I think for me, if I were to say there's one thing that everyone should do, because 'cause you're talking about, like, what's one thing we can do to feel better? It would be to get out and walk. And I know that sounds like so not sexy, and um seems so simple, yet so many people don't get enough outdoor exercise.
And leave your
So
phone at home.
yes. Leave your phone at home, like, appreciate the sunshine or even the rain, it's just getting close to nature. So Um, yeah, so, the foundations, but I also, like I said, as we get older and things start to feel like they're falling off the bus, to talk to someone and look into what the hormones are doing because my goodness, perimenopause, whoo, they go wackadoodle. So that's kind of what I'm about. And, I have the female optimization report on Substack. We have a community that's launching on School, and that'll be kind of a sister site, if you will. It's the Female Optimization Collective. And in there, we're bringing, instructors, practitioners, coaches, as a resource for women pretty much 35 to 55 years old. So that's kind of what I'm about.
Love it. Love it. And when you're talking about, wheels falling off the bus, I had an experience last week where I tripped over a dog and landed on my knees and my arms. And at my age, it used to be you could just rebound. Now it's like 4 days later, I'm like, gee, that's still twings.
Yeah.
It's
We don't
real,
bounce, we don't bounce back the way we used to.
And it's really important to be cognizant of the things that are going on in your body. And Lisa's here to share about what she does, and she's about putting the stuff into your body. So,
Right.
welcome, Lisa.
And I'm very much about the spiritual too. I think what we do physically to support our bodies supports the spiritual. So I'm all about, I think it's just layers. And while our spirit is in the physical body, while we're here for, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 years, it's good to maintain the body so we can have the best experience. So what I focus on is detoxing the body through simple ways, right in our own kitchens, and also upping the nutrition. A lot of people don't realize that they're destroying their food every time they cook and impacting it with environmental toxins. So that's what I cover in my Biohacking Your Health in the Kitchen class. And I've been doing this for 5 years. My health journey didn't start then. It started 25 years ago when we had a lot of chronic illness come into the family, and that really opened my eyes. I started asking questions like, why is this, what is this? Why is this happening? And doctors weren't giving me the answers. I was like, but why? I'm always one of those people, but why? Like, what's the root cause? And so environmental toxins are a big factor. There's very little regulation on cookware in our country, and people aren't aware. So that's one thing I really touch on. I do in-person classes, but I also do virtual. So if people are in my local Bay Area, I can come and do an in-person 5-course meal. It's very fun. And that's why I love my big kitchen. We've done them here as well. And we just go over how temperature impacts food, your surfaces impact food, what you're choosing to eat, the chemicals that they spray on food, choices that we make at the grocery store. And I'm well into menopause now, and I really noticed the effect. You were talking, Laura, about menopause, and when I was about 48 is when I came into this new layer of health awareness, and I was having some very achy joints. I was always like going through all this like motion, and I told my son, I said, I think this is going to be my old lady thing, just achy joints. And after about 2 months into biohacking all the heavy metals and toxins out of my cooked food, I was driving one day and I said, you know what? I feel like I'm in a constant state of adjustment. Because I had been going to the chiropractor chronically to have him kind of like work it out. And I realized I had detoxed my body just naturally by making new choices. So that was really exciting because I thought, the next half of my life was going to be this achy mess of sore joints. And I don't have that anymore. So if I can help other people with little things like that, that could be a very big thing. I mean, that can really affect your spirituality if you're achy. It's not fun. It's hard to pray. It's hard to meditate when your body feels in pain. So I think it really complements what the two speakers last week were talking about. And I wish that for everyone. It's very easy to do. And you were mentioning our specials coming up. I don't know if that's what we're supposed to mention today, but yeah. I love having people watch the Biohack Your Health in the Kitchen class, have two friends come and watch it, and then I give you medical implant grade, stuff like for your kitchen tools. It's so fun. What it's really about is getting the education out there, sharing, people get education and people get really great gifts for referring. I love doing that. And it's my time and it's their time and I don't mind. I love helping people. I came into this when I first learned, I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God, I told my son, I've been poisoning you your whole life. I'm so sorry. And then I said, we need to make these changes. And then my second thought was, I need to share this. We need to share this with other people. Because if I've been on a health journey for this long and I didn't know about it, who else doesn't know about it? So that was my thing. I've always been an activist, missionary spirit. And that's why I resonate with you, Jill, because I feel that in you too. And I just want to share this. And yeah, and I love that we have the Substack. You're so brilliant how you connect everything. So I appreciate that because I'm not really there yet, but you're getting me there. And I've referred you to a lot of people. So you may have my friends coming in. So yeah, I really appreciate that.
Still one big party.
Yes.
And you do have a really active school community. It's growing right now, but it's just the questions you ask over there about everyday things that we just take for granted. Like, when you make cookies, you just pull out your aluminum cookie sheet and don't think twice about it, but you're just putting aluminum in your food. And that's when she's talking about this medical grade.
This beautiful sheet here. I have one, but we're giving away two. But yes, this is medical implant grade. It's the same thing that you would put like for a dental implant. Or you mentioned your father had a hip replacement. It's the same metal. And the reason that's used is because it's non-reactive. So we work with doctors and nutritionists and health practitioners because it complements that. They realize that you need to get the heavy metals out of your daily life. And this is one way.
Plastics.
When you stick those, my gosh.
When you stick food.
Wave and putting it in. I remember my parents used to do that. I was like, oh my God, I can't eat that. I said, I can't eat it now. You've just destroyed the food with the plastic.
And then we microwave it.
I know. And it bubbles. The plastic.
Like really good vegetables and you stick them in plastic and you stick them in the microwave.
Yes. And the plastic.
Just go drink a bottle of bleach because it's going to have
that. And it doesn't even taste good. This is also about bringing the flavor back to food because a lot of people don't realize that the vitamins and minerals get destroyed with temperature. I used to torch my food. I didn't know about temperature. I was totally disconnected. But when you overheat your food, you're destroying the vitamins and minerals. And the minerals are the flavor. So when you taste a good intact meal that's been cooked at a low to medium temperature, you're tasting the minerals. And that's the nutrition. That's the medicine. The vitamins and the color. If you've cooked your broccoli and it turns pale, the water turns green, that's all your vitamins. The color is the vitamins. So we go over basics like that. We should have been taught this in school. I'm a school teacher as well. And I'm always telling the kids, why are you eating that? That is totally nutritionally deficient. I'm like, look at the the ingredients. I had one little boy drinking a Sprite. I was like, oh my gosh, this has nothing in it. And then some of the kids in the class were nodding their head. that peer pressure was great. And then at the end of the class, he had 2 things stuffed up his nose, tissues. I was like, see? I said, your body is like, it's toxic. I'm that teacher. And they listen. I noticed they're like looking, and because nobody's telling them this. So few people. And I wish more people would I think we need to start with the young ones so we get healthier as a people. We are so
It's things that people think are nutritious, like the carrots that they serve in those cafeterias. They're bleached. They're soaked in bleach.
Yeah.
The little bullet-shaped carrots. Don't buy those. If your carrots can't be stuck in the dirt and that green part won't grow, your carrot's dead.
Oh, that's
It's going to poison you.
Right. Good. Oh, I'll say that to them. That's very accurate, right?
And the whole pasteurized milk thing.
Oh, I know.
Started on that. It's like, you're better drinking water. Just drink water. You're designed to drink water. Don't be forcing kids to drink milk that's just going to destroy their body.
Exactly.
They don't have the enzymes to break it down, and it's just sugar. And usually they decide to add chocolate to it because kids don't like the taste of milk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kids are pretty smart. They're pretty intuitive. I have a friend who was cooking her daughter a lot of like vegetables, but it was in like nonstick and it just really toxic surfaces. And the little girl wouldn't eat the food. But now that she cooks it in a clean surface, the daughter eats the veggies because kids are intuitive. They know. So it's interesting. If we give them the right foods, they'll eat it. Like blueberry.
And Laura, how have you found all of this that plays into your hormones and how you feel?
I mean, there's so much that plays into our hormones. I mean, I think definitely the food, what we're eating, the sugar jacks up your insulin. Your insulin causes, when it's high, it causes fat storage, it causes more cravings. And then also the way cortisol plays into the picture. It causes hormonal dysregulation, really. And I think that definitely people's experience through perimenopause or menopause is related to how toxic their bodies are, and how stressed their bodies are. And I think a lot of times, I know cortisol has been, I don't want to say popular, but it's been brought to light a lot in the last couple years. And yes, it's the stress hormone, but I don't think a lot of people realize that that's physical stress. Ooh, I have a little tickle. Physical stress, emotional stress. Um, Injuries can cause your stress to go up. So exactly what Lisa's talking about. I mean, that toxic level it's not good for us. Sorry, it's like right back there. Yeah, so definitely seeing it play in. And, I think we see a lot of kids going through puberty earlier and earlier because of how toxic our food is, how toxic our environment is. I think women are also going through perimenopause earlier and earlier for just that reason. So I'm right there with you, like Lisa. It's not good, not good.
That's heavy metal. You stress that.
Excuse me?
The heavy metals in our environment, like the aluminum and just there's so many, that I'm not clear on how I know they affect the hormonal process. I'm not clear on the science of that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which ones, cause which ones to go up and down, but it just causes a systemic, excuse me, a systemic inflammation in our body.
Right. Yeah. And then the thing is there's an increase of Alzheimer's and dementia. I don't know if you know people in your own families and circles that have it, but I've been affected by it with people in my family. And there is a higher incidence of environmental toxins affecting this. The aluminum
Mhm.
the non-bioavailable iron, the copper. Those are the three of the top ones that have been found in the brains of people with Alzheimer's and dementia. And I remember my mother-in-law, she used to cook on the jankiest looking cookware. I didn't I didn't process it at the time. I just thought, oh, this is some really old school cookware. It chipped, and she had severe Alzheimer's and dementia, and she went very quickly once it hit. But this is also a big problem. And I remember going to the Alzheimer's unit that she lived in. I was shocked by how young the people looked. They look like our ages. And I thought, oh, they must be fine. And I'd start talking to them and they were totally, they had lost their mind. So it was very sad.
Yeah.
It's preventable. I think it's a matter of just reducing the toxic burden that people are, consuming every day. We get enough of so many sources. Our kitchen is one place where we can really control and have autonomy over that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, my mom struggled with Alzheimer's, and it's such a sad disease. It really is. And I think she ended up having a hysterectomy, and I think that because she didn't get support hormonally through that period, because there is research that um Alzheimer's can be impacted by hormonal fluctuations and also, high sugar, high insulin and stuff like that. I mean, it's just it all plays together. I mean, it's just and then you're left like, well, how do I do everything, right? It's tough. So
It's not a matter of trying to do everything. It's a matter of starting.
Yeah.
You can just start with having some hard, fast boundaries. You start with yourself.
Yep.
Like, we don't do soda. I refuse to support the soda industry. It is predatory and it's poison. You don't give it to kids. You don't drink it yourself. You don't cook with it. It's like, on top of the fact it's in plastic or aluminum, and even those aluminum cans usually are plastic lined. So plastics are like such a bad problem. We talk about toxicity. Plastic is probably right up there above aluminum, probably, because people at least are a little bit aware that aluminum transfers. There's an awareness factor out there. Plastics are just like, don't put your food, things that you're going to eat, don't stick it in plastic.
Right.
Stick it in glass.
Yeah.
You can freeze mason jars. You just need to leave space.
Yeah, leave the space.
Leave a space or they will break. Trust me on that one.
Yep.
And think about it when you're buying stuff in the store. If you can get away from plastic being next to your food, you need to do that. It's just really that important.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love what you say about you just have to start and you have to have hard, fast rules and boundaries, like you said. Yeah. Plastics. Yep. The one thing also, I mean, a little off topic from that I see is, there's such talk about protein now. Everyone needs to have protein. And now everything on the supermarket stores has protein. It's like chips infused with protein. Get some protein with your juice. It's just, and yes, I I absolutely think that women need protein, but you don't need, a protein
Whey
bar
protein.
and protein cookies and protein everything.
It's
So
whey. It's the byproduct of making cheese from pasteurized animals or animals that are kept in environments where they're injected with hormones. So you're getting this hormone concentrated. Whey is the liquid when you curds and whey. You heard Mary?
Yep.
The Little Miss Muppet. Eating her curds and whey, cottage cheese. Well, it's a separation, and they used to just throw that out, but there's a lot of protein particles in there. So they found a way they spray it onto these dehydrating canisters that spin, and that's how you get whey protein. And so They stick it in everything. Boost the protein in milk. They sell it to you with chocolate and sugars and a bunch of other chemicals. So it's not actually food, and it's only marginally protein that your body can use. And just eat a variety of products. And by products, I mean like fruits and vegetables as close to the natural state as you possibly can. They'll taste good. I promise.
Yeah. So,
Laura, you mentioned soda. I was just remembering, it reminded me when I had a family member in the hospital going through, recovery. And it just illustrated the disconnect between Western medicine, which has its place, and nutrition and health. I had to actually get the doctor. I was infuriated. They kept bringing soda pop with sugar. I was like, why are you bringing this? This has no nutritional value. And I was astounded that I had to get the doctor to write a doctor's order to get this nurse to stop bringing the patient soda pop. I was like, and then when I brought in grape juice, that was, I brought in some fresh squeezed juice because I was over in the kitchen making my bone broth and juices. And I saw a group of nurses whispering like, oh, she's bringing like it a bad thing. And I just thought, oh my gosh, what is this world that I'm in? So yeah, I think people assume that when they go to the doctor, there's a knowledge there of nutrition and, holistic wellness, but often there's not. And we end up being the ones educating them, and that's okay. So it's just to have that awareness that the doctor doesn't always know about. They get very little education actually on nutrition in medical school. I work with a doctor who's trying to get more of that information to second year medical students, Dr. Neil Bernard, but it's slow in coming, and I've seen it firsthand. I still am shocked. It's been like 15 years later. I'm still like, wow, that was crazy that I had to fight to get soda pop out of the person's diet, Yeah. So
I had an experience where my father-in-law went in the hospital because he was retaining water, like up to his waist. His legs were super swollen. And his menu, because I asked to look at the menu because I'm always suspicious of what they're feeding people. And it's like bouillon and soda pop and all things that are going to make you retain water rather than like drink some coffee if you have to have something that's going to help you. I mean, it's a diuretic at least.
yeah.
Stay away, but I mean, you can use food for healing. It's what it's designed for.
Right. It's like we've forgotten it in these last years. Food is medicine. It's the first medicine,
And teas are like hugely valuable.
Right.
Different. And the whole thing against dandelions. Every part of a dandelion is edible and nutritious and really supports your liver.
yeah.
Yeah. And they help the bees. They're the first things that the bees make honey with in the spring when they come out of their hives. So
Yeah.
it's just like, why are we trying to get rid of dandelions? We should be encouraging people to love dandelions and pick them and eat them.
Yes, I actually love weeds because I realize they have their own place. I'm like, beautiful weeds. They're so sturdy and hardy, and they offer so much, like the dandelion.
And they taste good. Right?
Yeah, dandelion tea.
There are a lot of flowers that are edible that add value and color and novelty to your life.
Yeah, that's a good topic. Edible flowers.
My kids always think it's funny when we go out to like a nice restaurant and there's a little flour on their food. They're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "You can eat it." And they're like, "No, I'm not going to eat a flour." But yeah, it's
People used to have parsley on their plates that people didn't realize you should eat the parsley because it helps you with digestion. Why
not
it's
just
there.
decoration. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've
So
moved away from all of this.
yeah. Well, Jill, one of the things that I love about last week's topic and this week's topic is just that really all four of us, five of us, I should say, are really all about helping people feel happy and healthy in their bodies. And, I think society has made that harder and harder um, over the years. And, how do we get back to that? And, I think coming back to foundations of like healthy food, getting outside, and just an appreciation for the different bodies that we're living in. And that really speaks to what Maria and Shannon were talking about last week. So I'm so grateful that you've brought us all together to talk about it, because I think it's neat that we can come from different angles and really be talking about the same thing. How do we become the happiest, healthiest versions of ourselves? Really. So
To embrace each stage. I've always been kind of put off by the whole idea that my change is a diagnosis. Like, oh my gosh, you have been diagnosed with menopause. I'm like, yeah, it's just a change. And I don't need anything, any medicine. I just need to eat right and make sure I don't have a burden of toxins in my body. Because I've had a really blissful transition. So when I see people having such a hard time and getting a diagnosis, and then there's all these prescriptions that start, it's almost like a fear of a natural process. So that's very strange to me.
yeah.
I'm with you on that. And I would like to invite all of our listeners to join us tomorrow, November 18th at 2 p.m. Mountain on Zoom to come and talk to all of the people that we presented here today and last week, and ask them your questions. It's your opportunity to get real live feedback one-on-one with these amazing women providing amazing resources for us all, and really stepping up to be the change they seek in the world, which is what I'm all about. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you, Jill. This was great.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow.
And
Bye.